Good morning. Today is opening day, and it's my favorite day. And when I realized that, it made me sad because there's no baseball. I've got a friend in the hospital who's fighting for his life, and the lack of baseball made me realize that there's going to be a lot to give up right now, and baseball's the first thing. At the end of every baseball season, I like to hear an essay called "The Green Fields of the Mind," and it helps me mourn the end of the baseball season. And I thought it would be appropriate to share it with you today at the start of the baseball season. So please indulge me. This is "The Green Fields of the Mind" by Giamatti. It breaks your heart. It is designed to break your heart. The game begins in the spring, when everything else begins again, and it blossoms in the summer, filling the afternoons and evenings, and then, as soon as the chill rains come, it stops and leaves you to face the fall alone. You count on it, rely on it, to buffer the passage of time, to keep the memory of sunshine and high skies alive. And then, just when the days are all twilight, when you need it most, it stops. Today, October 2nd, a Sunday of rain and broken branches and leaf-clogged drains and slick streets, it stopped and summer was gone. Somehow, the summer seemed to slip by faster this time. Maybe it wasn't this summer, but all the summers, that in this, my 40th summer, slipped by so fast. There comes a time when every summer will have something of autumn about it. Whatever the reason, it seemed to me that I was investing more and more in baseball, making the game do more of the work that keeps time fat and slow and lazy. I was counting on the game's deep patterns: 3 strikes, 3 outs, 3 times, 3 innings, and its deepest impulse to go out and back, to leave and to return home, to set up the order of the day and to organize the daylight. I wrote a few things this last summer, the summer that did not last. Nothing grand, but some things, and yet that work was just camouflage. The real activity was done with the radio, not the all-seeing, all-falsifying television, and was the playing of the game, and the only place it will last, the enclosed green field of the mind. There, in that warm, bright place, what the old poet called mutability does not come so quickly. But out here, on Sunday, October 2nd, where it rains all day, Dame Mutability never loses. She was in the crowd at Fenway yesterday, a gray day full of bluster and contradiction. When the Red Sox came up in the last of the ninth, trailing Baltimore 8-5, while the Yankees, rain delayed against Detroit, only needing to win one or have Boston lose one to win it all, sat in New York washing down cold cuts with beer and watching the Boston game. Boston had won 2, the Yankees had lost 2. And suddenly it seemed as if the whole season might go to that last day, or beyond. Except here was Boston, losing 8-5, while New York sat in the family room and put its feet up. Lynn, both ankles hurting now, as they had in July, hits a single down the right field line. The crowd stirs. It's on its feet. Hobson, third baseman, former Bear Bryant quarterback, strong, quiet, over 100 RBIs, goes for 3 breaking balls and is out. The goddess smiles and encourages her agent, a canny journeyman named Nelson Briles. Now comes a pinch hitter, Bernie Carbo, one-time Rookie of the Year, erratic, quick, a shade too handsome, so laid back he is always in his soul stretched out in the tall grass, one arm under his head, watching the clouds and laughing. Now he looks over some low stuff unworthy of him, and then, uncoiling, sends one out, straight on a rising line over the center field wall. No cheap Fenway shot, but all of it, the physics as elegant as the arc the ball describes. New England is on its feet, roaring. The summer will not pass, roaring. They recall the evening late and cold in 1975, the sixth game of the World Series, perhaps the greatest baseball game ever played in the last 50 years, when Carbo, loose and easy, had uncoiled to tie the game that Fisk would win. It is 8-7. One out and school will never start. Rain will never come. Sun will warm the back of our neck forever. Now Bailey, picked up from the National League recently, big arms, heavy gut, experienced, new to the league and the club, he fouls off two, and then checking, tentative, a big man off balance, he pops a soft liner to the first baseman. It is suddenly darker and later, and the announcer doing the game coast to coast, a New Yorker who works for a New York television station, sounds relieved. His little world, well lit, hot combed, split-second timed, had no capacity to absorb this much gritty, grainy, contrary reality. Cox swings a bat, stretches his long arms, bends his back, the rookie from Pawtucket who broke in 2 weeks earlier with a record 6 straight hits. The kid drafted ahead of Fred Lynn. Rangy, smooth, cool. The count runs 2-2. Briles is cagey, nothing too good, and Cox swings. The ball beginning towards the mound, and then in a jaunty wayward dance, skipping past Briles, feinting to the right, skimming the last of the grass, finding the dirt, moving now like some small, purposeful marine creature, negotiating the green deep, easily avoiding the jagged rock of second base, traveling steady and straight now into the dark, silent recess of center field. The aisles are jammed. The place is on its feet. The wrappers, the programs, the Coke cups, and the peanut shells, the doctrines of an afternoon, the anxieties, the things that have to be done tomorrow, the regrets about yesterday, the accumulation of a summer all forgotten. While hope, the anchor bites and takes hold where a moment before it seemed we would be swept out with the tide. Rice is up. Rice, whom Aaron had said was the only one who he'd seen with the ability to break his records. Rice, the best clutch hitter on the club, with the best slugging percentage in the league. Rice, so quick and so strong, he once checked his swing halfway through and snapped the bat in two. Rice, the hammer of God, sent to scourge the Yankees. The sound was so overwhelming. Fathers pounded their sons on the back. Cars pulled off the road. Households froze. New England exulted in its blessedness and roared its thanks for all good things, for Rice, and for a summer stretching halfway through October. Briles threw. Rice swung, and it was over. One pitch, a fly to center, and it stopped. Summer died in New England, and like rain sliding off a roof, the crowd slipped out of Fenway quickly, with only a steady murmur, concern for the drive ahead, remaining of the roar. Mutability had turned the seasons and translated hope to memory once again. And once again, she had used baseball. Our best invention to stay change, to bring change on. That is why it breaks my heart. That game. Not because in New York they could win, because Boston lost. In that, there is a rough justice, and a reminder to the Yankees of how slight and fragile are the circumstances that exalt one group of human beings over another. It breaks my heart because it was meant to. Because it was meant to foster in me the illusion that there was something abiding, some pattern, some impulse that could come together to make your reality, that would resist the corrosion. And because after it had fostered again that most hungered for illusion, the game was meant to stop and betray precisely what it promised. Of course, there are those who learn after the first few times. They grow out of sports, and there are others who are born with the wisdom to know that nothing lasts. These are the truly tough among us. The ones who can live without illusion, or without even the hope of illusion. I am not that grown up or up to date. I am a simpler creature, tied to more primitive patterns and cycles. I need to think that something lasts forever. And it might as well be that state of being that is a game. It might as well be that in a green field in the sun. Hurry back, baseball. We need you.